hold up. What I was telling Kyla was about, I want y'all. I'm gonna send y'all a link to Dr. Reed, and I want you to hear him when he preaches his fire and brimstone, because the thing I like about him, when he's figured out the formula. Like when he talks about spirituality, he doesn't make any references to any deity. He doesn't talk about no damn Jesus Christ. He just basically talks about the ancestors and the creator. That's his whole premise. He talks about ancestors and the creator, however you want to interpret it, so it takes away all the arguments about religion. You know what I mean? Like, so he's figured that out. In his wisdom, he's figured that out. And so, like, that's the reason I like listening to him, because, he I think he's probably been through all, because this is a dude, like I said, he's been to the continent probably at least 10, 15 times, and he's done business. He's a financial engineer. He's worked for the likes of Ted Turner. So he knows the beast. When he talks about the capitalistic beast, he's talking about Caucasians, basically. But he masks it really well. When he's having that conversation on air, he just calls it a capitalistic beast. But he definitely, he's literally the spook who sat by the door, because when he was in there in Wall Street, he was learning all this stuff, and now he came back and he's teaching the people everything that he learned while he was on Wall Street.
That's the type of person we need. We need to master everything of this world, whether it's Wall Street or the science, all the sciences of commerce, finance, everything. We need to master. We need to master, and then basically have such a scale of people on that to really move forward. No more ignorance. No more people talking stuff. We need to master whatever this man can do. We should be able to do. No more. That's what our education should be centered around.
Well, that's what I'm trying to tell you. So what ended up happening with him is that he was under attack. They came, the feds. He used to do live classes, right, in Atlanta. So I used to go to Atlanta to the live classes. Well, guess what? Some agents snuck in there, right? Next thing you know, the SEC fined him $500,000 that he had to wire to the escrow account, or they were going to try to shut him down. So he had to shut his show down for a week. He got his attorneys involved. He said, I don't lay down, we get down. So he went and paid them the money, and then he put his show back up. And basically now everything he says is for educational purposes. So apparently someone took something that he said and said, well, he said to do this, and I lost money, or whatever the case may be, right? Whatever, right? So bottom line is, some people infiltrated. He's actually been threatened. He had his car blown up. So now he has to keep a public face out there, but now he does everything through his webinars, and he does these shows on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and then he has classes like every first, third, and sometimes fifth Saturday. So I would highly suggest to, and
send us put the link in the BAIO group, and I'm gonna definitely check it out. And that's why I always say, I said, look, in African culture, West African culture, we had things called secret society. This idea of a big organization, that's things we learned in America, when people standing on a podium out there, throwing up stuff like that. That's what we learned in New York City in the days of Tammany Hall. We need to have secret societies, secret networks, and everything like that we operate under. Until we basically get so strong and so organized, then you come out there in the public. But things never get off the ground because everybody's out there with a bullhorn and a microphone, saying all the nonsense out of their mouth every second. Can't never shut the hell up.
Well, isn't what Dr. Clark said? The press is the best teacher. You know what I mean? So like all this stuff about I know y'all probably seen Hidden Colors 1 and 2. Y'all seen it already?
No, I haven't seen that yet. I heard about
it. It was so when Claude Anderson, he's talking about the difference between a neighborhood and having a community, and how you build a power base. He of course co-opted some stuff from Amos Wilson, but these are things that we should be concentrating on. Like, we'll end up getting left behind if we don't understand this commercial system. You know what I mean? Like hold up, when he had his show, he was talking about Bitcoins. You know how much Bitcoin is going for now? You know how much some things go for?
About, what is it, $400 now?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So
There was a dude, you heard about the dude?
If we had been on that, back when Hope first talking about it, we could have caked off on that and did something positive with it. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
Did you hear the guy who had it? I think he had invested $27 into Bitcoin, and now he's a millionaire.
wow.
I'm like, man.
It's out here. It's out here. Like, that's the thing. Like, like amongst my friends, like, like I tell them about stuff. Like, I put a lot of time and energy into learning this stuff because I see it as a way to get the freedom you want to get away from the plantation. Because at the end of the day, the only reason I'm gonna tell you this is the wicked thing about it is that the one thing they probably won't dismantle, like people say, well, they can always change the system. Well, because they profit so heavily from this system, the way it's set up, it'd be very difficult for them to dismantle it.
Right.
So, you know what I mean? Because everything is lynched. I mean, I want you to put this in perspective, right? So the United States has 17 trillion debt, right? And its GDP is over 17 trillion, right? Guess how much they got, the four biggest banks got in derivatives, including options and futures? They got like $300 trillion in derivatives. Yeah. They got more in derivatives than there's actual physical wealth on the planet. That's what I've been trying to focus my energy on, man. Like, this shit, like, I study this stuff so much to the point where I haven't slept for days on end. You know what I mean? Like, I and that's the way I try to approach it. I just kind of keep quiet about it just because, it's, I actually went and I started talking to people at SCORE so I could start a website and get some assistance with building the site, because my friends, they were like, man, why don't you get a website going? So I started talking to the people at SCORE to see what kind of assistance might be out there for me for, web development and stuff like that, with search engine optimization, marketing, and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I can put some stuff out there, and that I think that's the direction to go, because it's, if you're trying to wait on someone to give you something, it ain't gonna happen.
Well, you know what? You came back into the fold at just the right time. Did you see the message that I sent you on Facebook?
Yeah, you said something. I just read something about you. You copied me and you said to talk to Thomas and something. What was that? What was that regarding? That was about
the same exact thing that you just mentioned tonight.
Oh, okay.
The same exact thing. We got quite a few brothers that's interested in seeing, who's come to that same assessment that you have, that we have to start utilizing this system so we can finance ourselves, because the money is not going to come from anybody else. It's just not going to happen.
And that's exact. And this is with Dr. Reed. So he said like this. He said, you get your reparations. You don't ask for it. You take it. So that's why he does what he does. He says, you take it. He says, he said, making Wall Street pay you back. That's the way you have to do it. You know what I mean? Like I said, it's, I've been just paying real close to the vest on a lot of stuff just because it takes time to develop it. And the thing about it is that, it's the stuff is not really that, it's not really that difficult to understand and grasp, but I have to kind of water it down, because because if you're not familiar with some of this stuff, it just becomes, people get intimidated by it. So that's kind of what the assessment was when I went to go talk to SCORE. For people who don't know what SCORE is an organization where it's a not-for-profit, and they work in some cases hand in hand with SBA. And so there are people who are either retired business people who were very successful at whatever they did, and they have some type of domain expertise, or they're currently in business and they're successful, and they're teaching you, things that you need to know in order to get your projects off the ground. So I've been speaking to them, And like I said, my thing is, being in web development, getting, IT people who, at a reasonable cost. So, there's like websites like Odesk and Elance where you can get very high quality work from someone in India for like 1/10 the cost and be on time and on budget. You know what I mean? And so that's kind of what I'm working on now. Because, one of the things that Dr. Reeves was saying just the other day was he was like, we don't need more entertainers. He said we need more people talking about these markets. So he's even encouraging people to go out and spread his message. Because he's at that point now. He got 30,000 paying members, paying him $50 a month, and he still trades actively. He's not even concerned with the bread like that.